Hello, welcome back to BLENDERSUSHI live noding. In this video, we're gonna try to create this kind of setup, basically using SphereChalk. I think I made a mistake here. Basically, it's kind of like a polar chart. You might have seen something like this in some like video games, perhaps from Japan. Sometimes they have this kind of chart to represent like a character trait. So you might have maybe like a smarter or strengths or more personality, imagination, whatever. Kind of like a this kind of end gone kind of chart. I call it. I just look at it and it looks like a spider web kind of chart. It looks similarly something like this. This is one example. So you have like some kind of categories, and then you want to. Okay, the one at the center is like 000, and then as it's increasing, of course, like the character that's fully balanced in every single one is like have like maybe the best, but it's kind of that's not possible, you know. Sometimes you cannot have more than certain certain limit. Yeah, that's this is kind of a thing that quit Safari. We're gonna start from scratch. This is basically super simple, but there are a few concepts to understand, and this is actually quite interesting. So I call this SphereChalk polar chart, maybe SphereChalk spider web polar chart. I have something with spider and spider polar chart. Spider web polar chart 001. Save. Okay, cool. New and start from nothing. Let's create first like some kind of template. I'm gonna use cylinder. This is probably you think, okay, that's a bit weird. Why do you start with a cylinder? The reason being is because we are using SphereChalk, and cylinder is nothing. We can imagine cylinder is just like two circles and then lines that's connecting them. If we are just using the edges, otherwise we get, you know, normal cylinder. We're not gonna do that. We just want the outline, and then if I get rid of the height and then make the bottom and top circle kind of in different size, I get something that looks like spider web. You have seen me doing this a couple of times. Here I'm doing it again. Okay, so that's the chart. Okay, with the chart, normally you want to have this middle line at the kind of pointing up. Currently, you kind of imagine, okay, that's because by design, this node's kind of drawing the first line in the x-axis, so and then it's kind of going around, I believe. So that's why we get something like this. Anyway, we can work with this, so we can have more division like that. We can have more vertices. It's up to you, but I'll have maybe I'll have 6. Keep it simple, so we don't keep looking at this line. Okay, so this is our personal development kind of chart. We got the template already. Okay, so that's the spider web. Now we just need to put in the data. For the data, I'm going to use circle. You also have an n-gon, by the way. If circle is not working out for you, just use n-gon. It's similar. With circle, let's draw a circle. That's a circle by default. I'll reduce the radius and then change the vertices to 6. So now we have this hexagonal. And let's see, that's the smallest. That's kind of the smallest number, 0.1. Make this 0.1 as well. So this is when if the character is totally like 000 in their personality, everything. I'm going to have a viewer index and then have another circle kind of for the index, just for the number. See, that's what I mean. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Total of 6 kind of value, because we have this hexagonal. And for each of this number, we can represent, you know, like a couple of feature of a person. I don't know. It depends on you, of course. Maybe strength, and then you have emotion, 4, 5, 6, intelligent, look, maybe imagination, maybe how smart. Yeah, smart is intelligent, but maybe something else, some kind of unique skill. Anyway, that's, you can imagine this 6 goes into this guy, and we want to control this. Oops, not that guy, this guy. So this is like if the character is fully kind of balanced in everything, but that's not possible. Normally you want to have some kind of variations. Since we don't have the data, I'll show you one example where we just randomly apply the result. 1 second, let me, what should I do? Now we have the circle, and then in order to push the point kind of individually, you can do 2 things. The first one, you might be able to use just move. Let's say here I'm moving the vertices using the same vector in all directions. See, I'm getting that. It's almost like kind of pushing the radius of the circle. But if I randomize the number, the multiplier, I start to get these kind of like a variations of the personality, you know. That's kind of working. I have to be careful here, just make sure the value doesn't go too far or too less than 0. Okay, this is what I was talking about. So this is kind of a randomizing the chart. I want to be able to see this spider web, so I want to push this line a little bit up. Vector in, push it, or yeah, push it. Okay, now it's a little bit better, so we can see what's going on. So this is if you have like a kind of random data, and let's have 6 of them, because we only have 6 points. So there you go. This is like how you might want to randomize the character. Maybe see, like this character have like a maximum skill in number 1 here, which is emotion. The number, see, the index always start from 0, so I have to change this number. Okay, so that's this is one way we can approach it. Okay, like that is more. That's better. You see, this is how we, if we want to build this kind of polar diagram. It's very, normally if you want to create this, maybe you have some kind of like a framework already, so you just put in the data, but we are building it from scratch, you see. If you want to use the edges also, that's possible. Instead of this, so this is the edge only, and then give a different color. or just a polygon. Okay, polygon, maybe just that color. What else I want to show is oh, another way to do this, instead of using the move, okay, we can also use this lerp, vector lerp. So we have this original points at radius 0.1, and we can have another one at radius, let's say radius 1, and we can do the lerp between the two. And this lerp, with this lerp we can control the position of the dots. You see, I'm gonna give like a different color for the dots, maybe yellow, maybe make the dots like 10. Okay, that's for the lerp. So that's the minimum value, that's the maximum value. And if you have like some kind of data, you can easily pipe the data into these numbers. So you just need to remap it into this this diagram. So the factor will be so let's say, imagine you have a data like let's make it some kind of data, list input, and we have 6 data of type of float, and then this is the characteristic. This value can be more than 1. Okay, I'll make it pretty high, maybe sometimes go up to 4. Now with all this data, if we just plug it in, and you see the value goes over the 0 and 1, so we need to remap it. Just remap the value from 0 to 5, change the range to between 1 and 0. So this is one way you can do it. And then once you have this, and with the dots, you can also, you know, just draw the polygon like so. It's pretty simple and fun. Maybe the spider web should be underneath, I realize. So like that. And this value, if we want like a random value, of course just use random number, make it 6, float between 0 and 5, plug it in. Okay, there you go, that's random number. Sometimes you get like a weird kind of polygon, weird looking polygon. That's because you need to turn on this n-gons tessellations. Okay, now it's looking pretty good. Right, we don't have an option to have like a 50-50 transparency, but you can always bake this. Okay, so this way you can have some kind of variations of a character. So I don't know what this can be used for, but I guess it's up to you how you can use this. But if you really need to make this kind of diagram, this is how one approach you can create this. So this is the node setup. It's very simple. So we have the template here, the spider web. I guess it's better at the top, like that. And then you have this numbering. Oh yeah, by the way, with the numbering you can also use your own text here. I'm wondering if I should do that. If you use the typography viewer, and with the matrix here, if you plug in this circle number, and provide some text with a list input. I don't think we have text yet, only integer, float, and vector. So for the text, I can use maybe the text input. Oh, okay. Blender just decided to restart itself, so I'm gonna restart it real quick. I think text in or formula. It's better to use the formula, I guess. It's like if you wanna give like some kind of caption, you can do it this way. Let's use formula anyway, simpler. So do it like this. Maybe apple, orange, peach. Let's see if this actually works. Size. Yeah, it seems to work. We need to provide 2 more data. Here. Okay, that's just slightly better, except that the positioning can be improved there. Maybe just center our text and increase the radius. It's kind of alright. Okay, yeah, that's I guess that's pretty much it for this live noding. If you want more, you can more or less you can adjust the number of vertices. So for example, we have 6 here, so 6 into this guy, 6 circle and 6 random number being generated, and then we have also 6 information. You can have more or less value here, but the text, we don't have random text here, so we only have 6. That's why when I change this value, it doesn't update, but everything else seems to work properly, except for this guy. Okay, forgot. There you go. More or less random spider chart. And that's this is randomizing of the number. Let me tidy up a little bit before I'm done with this. And the spider web, I forgot this guy. Okay, that's how we do it. Back to 6, and you can randomize the number. Okay, I think this color can be slightly better. Okay, so anyway, that's how you might want to build these kind of spider web polar chart. Hopefully this is useful. You'll learn a few things here, basically like a list, how you generate numbers, and then how you kind of map the numbers into a polar chart using circle, and then yeah. So hopefully this is useful. If you have any question, feedbacks, just let me know, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you. Bye.